all walls. So I had to use that technique of measuring one, measuring up, subtracting the difference. And one of the things that I'll do quite often, there's two different things. There's a couple different ways you can do this. One, you can create a CAD detail and just draw it. Another way is to actually do it in the cross-section camera. Yeah, here it is. All right, so I needed to find out what the roof pitch was. So what I did is I went upstairs, and after a little checking, I could tell that, yeah, the ridge was in the center of the building. So I just measured the width of the room, measured the height to that point right there, measured the height to the ceiling, measured this distance, and then I just connected a line here. And that line tells me the pitch of the roof. So again, you would, if you're going to maybe draw a CAD detail of it, so you can click on the CAD detail icon right here. Hit New. Let's just call it our, section. Okay, and I'll do this once in a while on projects where I just, split levels, things like that, where you're running into lots of different floor heights. It's a lot easier sometimes to figure it out just by drawing some details here. You don't have to draw complete details, just get the heights right. So, so I've investigated, and I know that I've got 2x10 floor joists with 3/4 inch sheathing, so it's a 10-inch thick floor. You don't count the subfloor, you just count the finished floor. You just count the framing and the floor sheathing. That's the platform thickness that Chief uses. So I've got a couple of 10-inch. Maybe this one down here is the basement floor. It's 4 inches. Okay, so I'll just go into a CAD detail and I'll draw some boxes and I'll get them the right thickness. And then I'll dimension them. I'll start by drawing a dimension. I'll click on this. Maybe the ceiling height's 8'1". This is a situation where you're dimensioning the framing, not the finished ceiling. So you're going to have to subtract that little bit of difference. I'll move the entire object. So this is important. You want to move the whole CAD box, not just the edge. And then I know I have a 10-inch floor here. And I dimensioned down to my basement floor. And I've checked it out. And from the bottom of the floor to the top of my slab, maybe it's 54 inches. So again, I'll make that change. I'll click on the object I want to move, click on the dimension number, type in the number you want to change it to, move the entire object. Now in the case where, maybe you're doing multiple stories, maybe your stairs are going up here too, so you need to put another platform there. So you can start getting all these dimensions that you need in your finished product. This works well for new homes too. If you're not quite sure what the floor levels are, go ahead and draw them out. And the other thing too now is, okay, throughout this process of drawing this stuff out, you're starting to create your cross sections, which in many cases I just use these for my final drawings. CAD tools in Chief are quite well if you understand how to use them, or they work quite well if you understand them. Okay, so again, if I'm not sure how thick this floor should be, maybe I have a situation where I have a wall and I have a door in it, and I can measure from the door to the ceiling here, and then up here I can measure from the railing down to the floor. So I'm measuring from the door frame up to these two spots, and then back down, and then I subtract the difference, and that's my floor thickness. So there's lots of different ways to do that. Every situation is a little different. But floor thicknesses it's very good to get those in your plan. So now let's say that we're in the second floor again, a story and a half. We want to get the right pitch and everything in place. So again, the thing you have to remember, whenever you start a new plan in Chief, everything starts from a 0-inch floor height. Everything measured from that 0-inch floor height. Fascia heights, roof heights, ceiling heights, top of floors. But you only need to know that on the first floor. Everything else is done by ceiling height. All right, so I want to find the ceiling pitch. So maybe my building's 20 feet wide. Okay, so maybe that's the outside of your building. And again, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just looking for heights now. I'm not drawing an actual cross section. So, okay, so you've got that done. You've got the right width, 20 feet. All right, so you want to figure out that second floor attic. And I'll do this quite often in these story and a halves or different situations where you need the information, and it's a lot easier to draw it out here first than it is to model it first. So what I'll do generally is I'll go in here, I'll measure the width of that attic room, so maybe it's 10 feet, and the height to the sloping walls right here, maybe that's 60 inches. All right, so I want that, my peak is going to end up being in the center of the building. So I want to snap this box to the center here. This is all part of understanding the snap tools in Chief. You get your box, you're going to go point to point snap. You're going to hit here. You can slide your cursor, you'll find the center snap. I'm going to move that box down to the center of this. When I slide my cursor, it's going to snap to center. So now I've got that part in the right place. All right, now you need to, a lot of times I'll just draw a second box. And, you know, we're looking for this part right here now. We want to get that dimension, and then we want to get the top of this from the floor. So maybe that's 48 inches. I'm going to snap that box to the center of that box. Same way, using the snap tool. And then I'm going to draw a dimension from, I'm going to go end-to-end dimension from here to here. And maybe that's at 8 feet. Okay, so now I know that when I look at this, okay, these points are in the right place. So now all I have to do is draw a CAD line from here to here. I could continue it down if I wanted to. You can see how it comes out at the plate. So this is the bottom side of my rafter. I can use this to determine fascia heights, all sorts of things. Now all I have to do is go into that line and I'll know what the roof pitch is. Not only have you determined where all your platforms are, but you found out the roof pitch at the same time. So little techniques like this that you'll learn over time really make doing the as-built a lot simpler. Again, get used to the CAD tools, learn them, use them.